Hi, everyone. So welcome to the live stream today. This is a special Q&A session, and I want to deal with a very special topic also, or subject that is on the mind of a lot of you as you prepare for the examination, and with about 18 more days to go for the exams. Now, most of you at this point are feeling fear. You are having a lot of anxiety, some depressions coming in. What exactly are you going to study, with a lot of things at your disposal? And I want to come your way today and share some thought with you on exactly what it is that you need to do and how to handle this anxiety you are feeling and this fear, because it's part of the journey. You're going to feel it, but it is very important that you manage that fear, that anxiety very well, in order not to put yourself in a spot or in a position that will make you to ultimately go fail the examination. Because if you don't manage it well, that is going to affect you ultimately in that case. And that is what I want to go to today and share some thought with you on that. And I see some of you guys joining us here on YouTube. Comment in the comment section any questions that you have for me. Put it in the chat box, any questions you have for me. If you're watching the playback, also leave a comment, and then let's see how we can assist you much better to prepare well for the examination. Now, fear, anxiety, depression, perplexity, confusion, all these have a ripple effect on your ability to pass the examination. One of the things that you need to understand is that passing the examination is not just about the number of hours you spend behind the book studying. It is not just about the number of questions you solve from 1963 to 2021. It doesn't matter who is teaching you, but then there are a lot of things that go behind the scene in order to position you to pass the examination. And one of those key things that really helps you to pass the examination is your emotions. So it is very important you know how to handle your emotions, how to control your emotions, and how to be in the right mental state in order for you to increase the chances of not just passing the examination, or not just studying, but then getting into the exam hall and ultimately passing the exams in that regard. And so we have about 18 days to go for the ICA November 2021 examination, about 18 more days to go. A couple of you are feeling that, hey, am I prepared for this exam? Okay, some of you have already started meditating that, oh, even if I don't pass, I can take it in March next year. In that case, because I mean, now there are 3 examination dates and you have started already prophesying to yourself failure. But a question that we need to ask is, okay, how do we deal with this fear? How do we deal with this anxiety? Because whether you like it or not, it's going to be there. So what we need to ask is, how do you deal with it? Like, how do you solve it? How do you prevent yourself from feeling the fear and not letting it take control over you? A number of things that you need to make sure that you understand when it comes to handling or dealing with fear in that case. Number one is you need to find out, why are you afraid? The first question you need to ask yourself is, why am I afraid? Why do I think that I'm going to fail the exams? That's the first thing you need to ask yourself. Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that you are ill prepared? Or you are afraid that you are learning too much and so you are getting confused as you move on with your studies? Why are you afraid? Now, there are 2 categories broadly of people when it comes to dealing with fear and the anxiety towards the exam hall and then in the exam hall. The first category of people are people who are not studying. They've not been doing anything all this while. For the last 15 weeks, they've not really done anything intensive. However, they are waiting on some miracles to attend all manner of intervention classes across the country and spend some 3 days, cram something into their head with the expectation that they will go and pass the examination. Now, those people feel the fear because they are like, it's like a gamble for them as they are going into the examination. But like I say all the time, this examination is not a gamble. This is not Las Vegas that you are going to bet anything. It is either you go in there prepared to pass the examination or you screwed. Now, that is the first category of people. The second category of people are people who have been studying, really meticulous about what they've been doing, and they've been studying a lot. And so the more they study, the more they expose themselves to a lot of questions, the more they expose themselves to a lot of aspects of the syllabus, they feel inadequate because every question they pick, every thing they look at has an additional twist that makes them to feel ill-prepared. So these are the two broad categories. The question is, which category are you in? Are you in the category that you are afraid of the exams? You are afraid you're going to fail because you have not prepared well? Or are you the person that you've studied, you've been putting in the work, you've been putting in the effort, you've been sacrificing, you've had your timetable, you've been really following all the things that has to be followed, and then you feel inadequate, even irrespective of the number of hours you spend behind the book? So which category are you in? Now, once we know the category you are in, then we can handle why you are scared. Now, if you are ill-prepared, you've not been preparing all this while, and now you want to do some magic within 1 week, get some magic pills so that you go into the exam hall and pass the examination, may I suggest to you that probably you are smoking something. Because there is no magic pill, because there is no miracle anywhere. You better study or you screwed. So the way you handle that aspect of your fear is you got to go back to the drawing board. Yes, 18 more days to go, but there are a lot of things that you can do within 18 days. Some of you are going to, like I mentioned earlier, and then some of you are going to be attending a lot of intervention classes and all that. All these are good, but you have to have time to sit down on your own to do something. Now, for the people in the second category where you've been studying all this while, you've been exposing yourself to a lot of questions, and that kind of has crippled you a little bit, and hence any question you pick sort of has another twist to it. Any question you pick that has another twist to it also, there is a way you can handle that. And that is exactly what I want to share with you today, how to handle the examination fear, the depression, the emotions that you go through, so that you really, really prepare well for the examination, and most importantly, pass the exams. Because one thing you must understand is that when you are feeling anxious, when you are afraid, what happens is that your brain doesn't work well. Because what's going to happen is that every focus is on your heart. Your heart is racing literally. You cannot focus. You cannot do anything. So it is very important for you to be able to control that fear so that you'll be able to pass the examination. Now, I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. This is a live Q&A session, and I'm sharing with you how you can handle the fear of the examination and how you can position yourself strategically to go into the exam hall, write the exam blissfully, not without any fear, and ultimately pass the exam. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat for me, and I'm going to be providing you with any answers you have for me in the chat. And give us a thumbs up on the video when you join. It helps us a lot to reach a lot of students, to reach a lot of other people on the channel. So give us a thumbs up on the video. It helps us. Then you can also share the video. Let us reach as many people as possible. Joe Owusu Efriye said, good evening, sir. Good evening, Joe. I hope you're doing well. Arnold Tete said, good evening, sir. Great discussion today. I'm grateful, sir. Good evening, Arnold. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining the live stream today. So let's go back to the drawing board, the fear. Now, the way you handle the whole issue about fear is that Whether you are prepared for the exams or you are ill prepared, this fear is going to be there. Now, your ability to feel it cannot be stopped, but the way to control that feeling is what you must learn, and it is an art. So what I want you to do is this. You don't have to be afraid of the exams, or of the exams technically. You don't have to put yourself in the spot, in the position where you feel you're going to fail the exams. No. So what then do you do? One, you need to identify what are the key areas of the syllabus I have to look at. Now, I'm going to provide you with some specific practical strategies here. So you got to make sure that you listen carefully, you write down, you take some notes if you have to. You need to identify what are the key areas of the syllabus. Okay, let's say you are doing financial reporting. Okay, if you are doing financial reporting, we know there's going to be question on ethics in the exam hall. Okay, we know there's going to be question on ratios in the exam hall. Okay, we know there will be question on single entity in the exam hall. And that is based on the accounting standards. Okay, then there will be consolidated financial statements. Right. Maybe your headache is any of these areas. Now, one thing I tell my students is this. Number one, ethics is going to be there. 6 to 10 marks, it's going to be there. Know it. Now, when you are learning ethics, answering ethics question is not about listing the code of ethics. Objectivity, integrity, confidentiality, professional competence and due care, professional behavior. It's not about listing them. Neither is it about listing the threats to professional ethics. Self-interest threat, self-review threat, advocacy threat, intimidation threat, familiarity threat. It's not about listing them. However, it's about reading the case study, the scenario set before you, and trying to contextualize what are the ethical issues facing the person involved in the scenario. So whilst reading that, you're going to come across that, okay, the person may be communicating information to someone that he or she is not supposed to communicate to. When that happens, that is a confidentiality threat. Now, that is against the professional code of ethics, professional behavior. So when you are reading ethics, you don't read ethics and say, yo, I'm done with ethics, so I'm okay with ethics now. I understand professional competence. I understand that. No. Take it easy. Take it easy. That's why you're feeling the fear. You need to understand the structure of how questions are said, then how you now contextualize your answer to the scenario presented to you. That is the thing. So I know ethics is going to be there. Let me learn everything about ethics. Let me learn how to answer ethics question. Box check, 6 to 10 marks. That is in my pocket. Stay with me carefully. Number two, we know ratios will be in the exam hall. Okay, there are various diversity of ratios. One, there could be ratios where it is just a simple company. You calculate the ratios, you interpret. That's simple. Two, there is another category of ratio where the business disposes of a unit or an operation in the current year or in the previous year. That is the second category of ratios. And in that case, to enhance comparability of the financial statement, the effect of the disposed operation must be eliminated from the accounts in which it was there to enhance comparability. Now, that is the second category of ratio questions. So the first category is the traditional thing, nothing serious. You just have the ratios, calculate it, and go away. The second category is you have the ratios, but the entity is either disposing of a division or an operation either in the current year or the previous year. The third category of ratio is where the entity is acquiring a new operation, a new business, either during the year or last year. So if there is an acquisition like that, again, to enhance comparability, the acquired business's operations must be deducted from the year that it was not there to enhance comparability of financial statements. That is the third category of ratios. Then there is a fourth category of ratios where you are given the financial statements, but there is a footnote and the financial statement requires some adjustments that has to be made. And this is where the examiner tries to put together some accounting standards testing, even in ratios, so that you would have to readjust the financial statement even before you calculate the ratios. So if you are doing ratios, these are the four categories of questions that the examiner can throw at you. So the question is, you must understand, solve questions in these four categories of ratios. And if you go to the exam hall, one of these categories will be there and you can answer it and go away. So it's not brainer. It's about understanding how the exams is, what are the structure of the various questions that are set under each of the topics that I'm learning, and then how do I focus? So you don't have to freak out. You don't have to be afraid. If you understand that these are the four categories of ratios, so that you look for questions in those four categories, solve them, look at the solution and see how those kind of questions were solved under ratios, then as you go into the exam hall, no ratio question can the examiner bring that you cannot solve and get the maximum marks available. That is the thing. So you want to deal with the fear, you want to deal with the anxiety, you want to deal with the things that you're going through. Ask yourself, what is my strength, say, in ratios? Like I've said, four categories. Four categories. Now, if you don't understand that there are four categories of questions or structure of questions in ratios, you're going to screw yourself up. You're going to feel scared because each question you pick will have one of these categories. So you feel inadequate. You feel ill-prepared. But if before you approach the question, you understand that ratios are in four categories, and each of the categories, when there is a question, this is what I'm expected to do, then when you pick the question, you will not freak out. You can solve it, try your hands on it, look at the solution, then you'll be covering the holes as you move ahead in that particular case. That's the thing you need to understand. So we know financial reporting, ethics is going to be there. Understand how ethics questions are set, how they are supposed to be answered. It's not about listing the things down. No, you need to align, you need to contextualize, you need to match it together. Let me know in the chat box. I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you are getting some values. Share the video. Let us join. Let us get to as many students as possible. But most importantly, comment in the comment section. What subjects are you writing? What are the challenges that you are facing? We have 18 more days to go to the exams. Let me know, what subject are you writing? What challenges are you facing in your studies? And let's see if I can provide you with some thoughts real quick on them as you prepare for your examination in that case. So put it in the chat for me. What subjects are you writing? What are the areas that you would want me to share my thought on? What has been your challenges? What are some of the challenges you've been experiencing about your studies, about the exams? Let me provide you with some ideas. Let me provide you with some ideas real quick. So Felix Oluwase, yeah, for me, forgive me if I don't mention your name right. Okay, so let me just stay with the Felix. So Felix from Nigeria, you are doing well, sir. Thank you. Your CSMS have been so helpful. That is great. That is great. That is our objective. We want to make sure that these content assist you guys as you prepare for your various examination. And I'm really humbled to see that really we are assisting a lot of you guys. And we're going to be doing more of these as we continue with our broadcast and the sessions here. So let me know, what subjects are you writing? What are the areas of challenges you have in those specific subjects? And then let me provide you with some specific blueprints that you need to do, practical recommendations that you can implement today, so that in the next 18 days, you can really put yourself in a position that you won't freak out in the exam hall. So that is about ratios. So I've talked to you about ethics. I've talked to you that there are 4 categories when it comes to dealing with the ratios. Then you come to the all-knowing accounting standards. Accounting standards. Accounting standards, it's going to be 40% in the exam hall. Financial reporting students, accounting standards, 40%. So what is your requirements then? Your requirement as a financial reporting student is to make sure you understand the accounting standards. Now, I've heard people say that, Nhyira, when I learn the standards, I don't understand. Well, I learn, I don't understand. You are learning the standards the wrong way. Why is that? Because, like I keep on saying, standards are not learned in isolation. They must be learned together. Because the questions may not just exclude a specific standard and bring it in. Sometimes in one question, you have to apply 3 standards, 4 standards, 2 standards in that regard. So you must know the relationship that exists between the standards. So maybe you think you know IAS 16. Then you see one IAS 16 question like that, then there is deferred tax inside. You see IAS 16 question like that, then there is provision for dismantling cost, IAS 37. You see IAS 16 like that, then there is non-current asset held for sale, because the entity has changed a PPE into a held for sale, or a held for sale into a PPE. Then you are there. Oh, this thing I learned it. Oh, how come? I don't know. I don't know. This thing I've learned. It is not sticking. No. You've not learned anything. Okay, don't put yourself high. You've not learned anything. You need to learn the standards and identify the relationships that exist between the standards. You need to understand it. So you don't just say, oh, now every question on IAS 16 I can solve. Oh, really? You sure about that? You sure about that? Because you can have IAS 16 with tax, deferred tax to be specific. You can have IAS 16 with provisions. Are you okay with that? You can have IAS 16 with impairment, IAS 36. You can have IAS 16 with borrowing cost. Are you okay with that? You can have IAS 16 with government grants, IAS 20. Are you okay with that? You can have IAS 16 with leases. Are you okay with that? So you must understand the relationship that exists between the standards. The accounting standards are not learned in isolation. So the reason why you are scared, the reason why you feel ill-prepared, or the reason why you feel that now you are not moving ahead in the accounting standards is that you are trying to understand them on their own, but not realizing that these guys are intertwined. They are related. They are twins, if I can say that, like they are joined together. You don't learn them in isolation. So what am I trying to say? The fear, the anxiety you are feeling, it's not necessarily because you are not prepared well for the exams, but it is because of the approach you use to study. And the reason why you are using the approach you are using to study is probably because you don't have an understanding of the structure of the exams and even the structure of the syllabus before you. You don't understand. I don't know how many of you have read the ICAG syllabus. Like I tell my students all the time that, hey, look at the syllabus. There is something there I may not cover in class. So you go on our portal, watch the video. And I tell them that every time. I said, hey, I can't cover everything in the syllabus. But the good news is that we have made videos available for that on the respective or in the respective courses on the portal. So go there, make sure you watch the video. So if you don't even know what the syllabus covers and you just attend lectures somewhere and whatever the lecturer teaches you is what you pick, then you are cutting yourself short, because the truth is the lecturers or the lecturer cannot go through everything. So what if you go to the exam hall and something comes, 35, 40% question comes, and it has nothing to do with what you did in class because your lecturer did not teach you? Would you say the lecturer is not good? Would you say you are failing because the lecturer fails to teach you? No. You cannot put your life in the hands of the lecturer. Now, somebody will say, yeah, I paid the lecturer. Yeah, you paid the lecturer, but that doesn't mean you leave everything to him or her. You have to take it on your own volition and understand the structure of the syllabus. So the reason why some of you are feeling the fear, the anxiety, you are really going through some pressures right now, it's because of the approach you are using to study. If you can change your approach to an exam-focused approach rather than your own feelings, your own guts, that will help you much better. That will reduce the anxiety. So like the example I gave, if you know there is ethics in the exam hall, learn everything about ethics. If you know ratios will be there, know all the aspects of the ratios. Solve questions in the 4 categories of the ratios. We know accounting standards will be there, 40%, the single entity, and then the question 2 proper, it's going to be there. Learn them. So learn. Okay, Nhyira, which standard should I learn? Learn all of the standards. Oh, how can I learn all of the standards? It is easy if you learn them together. It is easy if you don't see them as independent. The accounting standards learning becomes easy if you don't see them as independent standard, but you see them as a unit that you must understand as a whole. So that you don't say, I have finished learning borrowing cost, bye-bye. I have finished learning intangible asset, au revoir. I have finished learning what? Income tax, bye-bye. Oh, really? You're going to be screwing yourself up. So you must understand that the standards are related. And if you learn them as a unit rather than individually, it opens your level of understanding and it reduces the anxiety that you feel about the accounting standards. Let me know in the chat, what subjects are you writing? What has been your challenges as you study? And what are the things that you would want me to share my thoughts on real quick in that case? I see some comments coming in. I'm going to take that now. So Arnold Tete said, sir, kindly share with us some guidelines in answering transfer pricing questions. Now, transfer pricing in which subject, Arnold? Is it taxation, advanced taxation, or management accounting transfer pricing? Maybe provide me with some specifics, then I can know the subject, and then I can share my thought on that. Arnold Tete. Then Alice Ohine said, management accounting, difficulty in transfer pricing. Alice, what exactly about transfer pricing that you have challenge with? Funny enough, that is the topic I'll be teaching today in class. We are at the final part of our syllabus, that is performance evaluation. We started last week, so we're going to be finishing with divisionalization today and talk about transfer pricing today. So Alice, what particularly about transfer pricing that is your challenge? Maybe give me some specifics, then let me guide you with what you can do in that regard. Okay, I'm back online. Kelvin Kamara said, good day, sir. I have listened to you several times and I've applied your method religiously. Your methods have paid dividends for me. Wow, that's awesome to hear. Kelvin Kamara, thanks very much that you put in place, you applied the methods and religiously. That's really great. So that's great to hear, Kelvin. And I hope that you meet a lot of success encounters or have a lot of success encounters as you continue with life, because these are practical things that personally has helped me. So I come on live here and share some of these things with you. Romeo Sir said, good afternoon, sir. Thanks for the pep talk. I've also always prepared for the exams, but when the results come, I am always in 40s, but haven't managed to get the 50 mark. Romeo, this is the problem. Let's deal with that problem, Romeo. I like the word you used. I have always prepared for the exams. Do you know that you can wrongly prepare for something? Do you know that, Romeo? You can wrongly prepare for something. I don't know the subjects that you are writing, Romeo, though, but the approach of studying each subject is different. So like I was saying earlier, the approach you apply or you use to study can affect you. And this is one of the things you have to also understand. When you write an exams and you fail, and you are going to race it, there is a complacent mentality that sets in 99.9% of the time. Now, I've met students, they are like, no, I'm not complacent, but I see it in their attitude. You know why? Because you feel, oh, last year I had 47, I had 45. So I need to just do a little bit, then I will cross. No, you need to start from zero. Okay? So probably the reason why, even though you feel you prepare for the exams, but you still fail the exams, is because of the complacency you have. Now, I don't want you to be egotistic and say, no, Nhyira, I'm not complacent. No. 99.9% of the time over the last 8 years, in my experience teaching these professional courses, ACCA, ICAG, I've seen students manifest that a lot. So they sit in the class, they've written the paper before, and you are teaching something. They don't pay attention because they feel, oh, I know this already. But then you put a question down, they are freaked out. So maybe, one, your approach of studying, it's wrong. And the reason why you are studying the way you are studying is because you feel you know something already, and so need to do something small, and then you can be pushed. That is a wrong approach, Romeo. So you need to change, reset the hard disk, and start from zero. You need to come in as though you've not done the subject before. You've not learned it before. You are starting as though this is the first time you are going inside. If you come with that mindset, you come without attitude, it changes the way you do everything. That's it. I have students currently in my class that they are resitting for the exams. And you give assignments, mbano, they won't do. Performance evaluation test, mbano, they won't do. So you ask yourself, oh, really? You won't do assignments? You won't do performance evaluation test? What the hell? Because they feel that, oh, I know it a little bit. Last year I had 45, so I'm coming to just push in a little bit, and they will go, and 99.9% of the time, on the second time, they fail again. Not because they didn't just study, not because where they attended lectures is not good, but it's because of the mindset, the attitude of complacency. And so if you are watching this video, and this is the second time you are writing an exam, or a third time you're writing an exam, or a fourth time you're writing an exam, note that the reason you keep on failing the exams is because of complacency. Now, if you tell me, Nhyira, I'm not complacent, that is egotistic. 99.9% of the time, like I said, in the past 8 years, I have seen that. I have seen that. So come in as a child. You don't know anything. You are starting from scratch. You take notes. You solve questions. They give assignments. You do it. Performance evaluation test, you do it. Like I said, I have students here who have never done any assignments, but they are going into the exam hall, who have never done performance evaluation test, but they are going into the exam hall. So you ask yourself, what will be in their head then? But we have a very simple policy here. You don't do assignments, you don't join the discussion for the assignments. That's simple. You didn't do performance evaluation test, you don't join the discussion for the performance evaluation test. That's simple. Because I bring people's scripts up and I share my thoughts with people's script on that practical level. So Romeo, and this goes to everybody else, I don't think your problem is you study, but you still fail. And I don't think what we are saying is just something else, but I think it is your attitude that is making you to fail the exams every time. And if the only way you can cross the 50% mark is to change your attitude. And some of you think, oh, the exams is 50%. So just with a small thing I can cross. Please, you're screwed. If you think, oh, it's 50%, something small, no, I can pass, that is where you even start failing. So Romeo, that is what I will share, I will say with you. Come in as a child. Come in as you don't know anything. Study every day as though your life depends on it. Study every time as though you are studying this for the first time. Never pick a note or whatever. Never pick a book and grumble over it and say, oh, wait minimum dada. Oh, this thing I know it. I know it. I can do this. No. Immediately you start writing off certain topics, thinking you know, that is the very time you start failing the exam. So that is what I would say there on Romeo's point. I approach the problem to the best of my ability, but I can't comprehend why I am not getting the 50 marks. Okay, so I've said it, why you are not getting the 50 marks. It's your attitude. It's your attitude. You change your attitude, you change the marks. It's simple. Change your attitude, change your mindset, you will get the 50 marks. If you see the exams as this is your first time, you've never written the exam before, you put in all your work, you put in all your efforts, practice questions, and don't be lazy and complacent, you will cross the 50 marks in November 2021. But if you don't change your attitude, you don't change your mindset, you don't change the way you look and see the paper and yourself, then there will not be any solution. That is what I would say there, Romeo. Arnold is saying that management accounting. Okay, so when it comes to transfer pricing in management accounting, it's an interesting area, but you must understand the principle about transfer pricing. So when it comes to transfer pricing, you must understand that there is a way transfer price will be calculated when the selling division has a spare capacity and when the selling division has no spare capacity. Then you have to also take into consideration the buying division. What price are they buying from the outside world? So really the way we approach transfer pricing question in management accounting depends on the context of the question. So there is a way transfer price will be calculated when the selling division has spare capacity, and meaning they are producing above their capacity and there are no external demands or more external demands. Then there is a way we calculate the transfer price when it comes to dealing with the issue about when there is no spare capacity in that case. In other words, what they produce, they can sell all to the outside. So how do we determine the price? So what is going to happen is that possibly, because it's one of the topics that we have received concern over, possibly we will see if we can do a live session on that before this examination. Like I said, I'm taking that this evening in our main class, but we will see if we can have a live session on transfer pricing. But the advice I will give is note how transfer pricing is calculated. Number one, if the company has a spare capacity, there is a way it has to be calculated. The calculation goes. If the company has no spare capacity, there is a way the calculation goes. And even there is activity-based costing and marginal costing principle also in transfer pricing. So I think the context of the question directs the approach you adopt in the solving of the transfer pricing question. Romeo said, I am writing financial reporting, financial management, management accounting. No. Romeo. That's a lot. That's a lot. Why? That's a lot. 4 papers. Are you not working? Are you a full-time student? That's a lot. That's a lot for you. Okay? In my opinion, probably drop 2 and do 2. Okay, Romeo? Probably do 2 and do 2. That like drop 2. Maybe drop management accounting, financial management, do FR and PSA. Maybe because you are taking it for like that, you don't get time to study. See, FR alone is a headache. Oh. PSA alone, it's a headache. I always tell my students, like I've had students, they come and they say, yo, Nhyira, I want to write 4 papers. I want to write 3 papers. I say, hey, take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. The more papers you write, the more money I make. But it's not the money, it's for you to pass. So I tell them, hey, listen, then we get personal. Are you working? Yes. Are you married? Yes. You got some children? Yes. How busy is your work? Very busy. Why the hell do you want to write 4 papers? Come on, take 2. Now, sometimes when I say that, they don't get it. Like they're not comfortable with it. Nhyira, I have a deadline. I have to finish it by this time. Listen. This thing is not 100 meters. So it's not 100 meters. That then you finish. Nah, because if you take it as 100 meters, you get a lot of bruises. It's a marathon we are going. So take it at your own pace. So Romeo, I will advise, probably go Operation Tutu. Go Operation Tutu and see how you can go from it. Maybe go Operation Tutu. The 4 is too much. I don't care whether you are working or you are a full-time. If you're a full-time student, fine. But with the context of what you're saying, I don't think you're a full-time student. You are working definitely. So maybe go Operation Tutu. That will help. Okay, Romeo, that will help. I want you to highlight me on the tricks to attacking consolidation and publish accounts problem. Thanks again for your time. I do appreciate your efforts. This is Romeo Solino Sa from Liberia. Okay, Romeo, you can check our YouTube channel. We've done a lot of discussions on consolidated financial statement and published accounts. Possibly, I'm going to be coming your way later on. Follow me on Instagram. Details on our revision discussion will be coming in. I'll be coming your way live, and then it will be dealing with some specific issues in specific subjects. So you follow me on Instagram because the updates will be posted on Instagram. Angel Kamara said, good evening, sir. Please, can you provide tips on the best approach in studying strategic case study? How to link the various strategic tools using case study scenario? It's simple and it's quite challenging. So number 1 is for you to have an understanding of the modules generally. Then if you understand the modules, then you will have an idea when which module is to be used. So let me give you an example. Number 1, let's say the entity is seeking to make an investment in another country or in another market. If the entity is seeking to make an investment in another country or in another market, then certainly they have to do an environmental analysis. So that is PISTL framework. Okay, they have to do an environmental analysis. So the PISTL framework comes in there. Along with that, before the entity goes ahead to make that decision, they would have to bring in some internal analysis, so SWOT analysis could come on board so that the entity can identify what its strengths are, what its weaknesses are, what are the opportunities available, and what are the threats available. Then the entity would then ask, how can we expand and grow? How can we go into the market we want to go? Okay, the entity may decide to go with market penetration, market development, product development, or diversification. That is the unsolved growth metrics. So if the company is seeking to expand, to grow, to gain competitive advantage, unsolved growth metrics, it's going to be called for in that case. When we are comparing 2 companies that are in 2 different economies, and why one company is doing better than the other, then the Porter's diamond will be called upon. If we are looking at how the nature of competitiveness in the market, in the local market that we are in, then Porter's 5 forces will be called on. So it's about understanding the modules. Now, if you understand the modules very well, it wouldn't be a problem to identify which module is in this scenario. But if you don't understand the module to its core and you read it just like that, then it will be hard for you to identify them in the case. So these are just some examples that I'm giving you in that case. Again, an entity wants to gain competitive advantage in the market. Maybe they are a new firm. So they are finding out how do they gain competitive advantage. Okay, then the Porter's generic model could come to town. The Porter's generic model could come to town. Either they have to be the cost leadership strategy, they have to adopt the differential strategy, or they have to adopt the focus strategy. So it depends on the question. But like I said, if you understand the modules, it will not be a problem for you to link it. If the company has selected a strategy and they are coming to implement that strategy, even before we select the strategy, there is what is called the SAF principle. In other words, we need to find out suitability of the strategy, acceptability of the strategy to all stakeholders, and feasibility of the strategy, whether it can be executed. So the SAF principle must be used in identifying which strategy best suits the company. Now, after strategies are selected, they have to be implemented. The successful implementation of strategy depends on 7 factors, and that is what is referred to as the McKinsey 7S model. Are you getting the idea? So that's how you build your understanding. So if you really studied, you know the modules well, then you know when to do what. I getting it. So that is what I would say there. In that case for you, Angel Kamara, for strategic case study, if you are learning that, and that's how you look at it in that case. So if you look at it in that manner, so as you are learning, ask yourself, okay, this module, like, what is the meaning of this module? Okay. So like, when do we do this module? There is this module I want to remember, but I cannot remember. I have the ideas there, but the name I've forgotten. Oh my goodness. The BCG growth metrics. The BCG growth metrics. When do we use the BCG growth metrics? We use the BCG growth metrics when an entity sells more than one product or renders more than one services and want to identify which of the products they are selling or which of the services they are rendering is making them more money and which of them is not making them more money. So they want to categorize which is a star, which is a cash cow, which is a dog, which is a problem child. Then we are using the BCG growth metrics. So that is about product portfolio management. So the company wants to decide which product should we stop selling, which product should we stop producing. Okay, then let's go to the BCG growth metrics. Let's classify the products. Which one is a star? Which one is a dog? Which one is a problem child? Which one is a cash cow? Let's identify it. That is how you learn the modules. Do you get it? So if you are learning each of the modules, like, you link it up. You link it up. So you ask yourself, okay, what is the basis of this whole module at the end of the day? If you're able to answer the question, so list all the modules down and find out, what is this module talking about? Okay, in a nutshell, this module is about this. So that immediately you read the case, you read a scenario, you know that, okay, this is the module I need to apply in that particular case. And remember, when using the modules, you got to be careful because of the SAF principle. Got to be for your suggestions. You got to be suitable for the entity. You got to be acceptable, and you got to be feasible in that regard. So, Angel, that is what I would say there for you. Arnold said, "Sure, I will be looking forward." Said, "Grateful." All right. Alpha, Isa Kanu said, good evening, sir. Please, can you help me with transfer pricing? Thanks in advance. Okay, so it's like we're getting a lot of consents on transfer pricing. So technically, I have to teach it on the live stream. So don't worry. Follow me on Instagram. The details about it will be posted definitely so that you will be able to join the live stream for that particular session. Edem Athems said, wow, I'm enlightened. Okay. I am with a diploma certificate and would want to try my hands on the professional. Would I be exempted from the level 1 papers if I have a diploma in accounting? Now, I don't know the kind of diploma you have and what kind of your friend is saying, what kind of the school you attended. So probably you will not be exempted from all level 1 papers as per your transcript or whatever it is. You may be exempted on subject per subject basis in that regard. And you can contact the ICA and they will let you do that. And I don't want you to say, I want to try my hands on the professional. Like, it's not about trying your hands. It's about knowing this is what I want and I'm going to do it because when I do it, it will help me to do this. So yeah, don't say I want to try my hands at them. So that's it. So you can contact the ICA office. Now you can even register online. You visit sms.icag.com, sms.icag.com, upload your transcripts, your certificates, register as a new student and everything. Then you apply for the exemption. If they look at your diploma, your transcript, whatever it is, then maybe you'll be given exemption on subject per subject basis in that case. But say you'll be exempted from the whole level 1, that cannot be guaranteed. Adam said, funny enough, I was thinking I could take all 6 papers at my first attempt. Thanks for that. Nah, you cannot, okay? You cannot. I would not advise you to do that. You're going to waste a lot of money and a lot of resources, so don't do it. Okay, he said, thanks, sir. You're welcome. Okay. So that is the idea about that. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to just bring you up to speed with is the only way you deal with the fear you are having and the only way or how you can prepare for the exams and pass the exams is when you understand the structure of the syllabus, the structure of the exams, and how you go into the exam hall and pass the exams. That is very, very critical. That is very, very basic in that case. So that is what you must understand. And I believe that if you really understand the structure of the syllabus, and especially if you are doing financial reporting, corporate reporting, learn the standards together and not in isolation, I can guarantee you, you will pass the examination. And like I said, never feel complacent. Never feel, oh, this topic is easy, I can do it. No, never feel that way. Because when you start feeling complacent, you are telling your mind that I know it. So your mind closes up and cannot accept anything. And the last thing you want to do is to close your mind on a subject. You still got to listen to it as though you are a child. And that is how you increase your understanding of even what you already know in that regard. I still study after 80 years of teaching this, publishing 15 books on the subjects and everything. I still study every day for each class as though I just started teaching. And that is what it is. Because I cannot just come, take my iPad, walk to the class, and start teaching. No, it doesn't happen that way. I need to sit down, go through it, study, read books, look at questions that I can solve, look at scenarios that I'm going to be using, because I've never felt that I'm complacent and I've never felt that I'm good enough at the end of the day, because you are always polishing, you are always sharpening the axe so that every time you deliver top notch at the end of the day. And that's the same thing you need to apply in everything that you do. If you've written the paper before and you are resitting, don't be complacent. Don't feel, oh, this topic I understand. Oh, this topic last semester, it wasn't my problem at all. Oh, so this one, I won't even do anything. No. Do it all over again. Approach it as though you are a child And that's how you can become successful and pass the examination. Thank you very much for joining the stream. It's always a pleasure coming your way. And thanks very much for the thumbs up and the sharing of the video and the various messages that came in. Remember, you can subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. Follow me on Instagram, because the discussions and everything will be posted on Instagram, so that you'll be notified to join me on the live stream when I'm covering some of the special issues that some of you have mentioned in that case. And I'll catch you some other time as we continue with our discussion. Stay safe, stay blessed, and continue to study. 18 days to go for the ICA November 2021. A lot can happen in 18 days. And if you are somebody who is going to put in the work, put in the effort, and put in the sacrifices, I know you can definitely become successful in that case. Angel Kama said, thank you, sir. Very helpful. Okay. Irene Labi said, good evening, Nhyira. Hope you are good. Yes, I'm flourishing, Irene. It's been a long time I heard from you on the live stream, though. Thanks for the insight. We are grateful. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right. Thanks very much, and see you some other time.